Good morning, friends. It's been about a year since my last video out here in the garden, and everything is looking so nice. I thought I would take a little walk around and share things with you. Today is June 11th, 2025, and it's a beautiful day here in New Hampshire. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, the Siberium, I'm hand holding the video, so I apologize for any shaking. The Siberian iris are all in bloom. They're so pretty. I have some purple and white ones here. Down here is a white berry bush. And this is my hosta bed here. I've been trying to build it up over the past couple of years just to get all hosta in here and cut down on the weeding. Over here is a huge carpet of lemon thyme and English thyme. I'll just scan across. It just cascades over the rocks here. It smells so good. This is my flowering crab that I had planted, oh my goodness, it's 12, 13 years ago. And we'll just take a little pan here of the yard. We're putting in some new topsoil here, and my husband's going to be putting some grass seeds down. There's a lot of little dips in the ground there, so he filled it in with his tractor. Beautiful day. So over here, what I typically do is I plant marigolds in these little cinder blocks. So by fall, they're taller and they're bushy, and there's a lot of orange and yellow color, fall colors. And here are my beautiful sorbet peonies. They're the early peonies. Oh my God, they're so gorgeous. I'm sure the video doesn't do it justice. There's a pale pink and rose and an apricot color. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. I just have to smell them. They're just doing beautifully this year because we've had tons of rain here in New Hampshire. We're definitely out of our drought. Tons and tons of rain. And down in there are daylilies. Oh, there's the oriole. I just put some grape jelly in the feeder. They actually sit at the feeder if it's empty and call for me. They yell at me until I come down, and they're pretty tame. They come pretty close to me. I'm surprised because I had read that orioles are real skittish. So yeah, so down in here we have bee balm, which is just budding out right now. That's going to be all pink flowers, and that's beautiful pink flowers and a big heavy pollinator. That's the oriole calling me. And these little solar fountains are perfect. Just a nice little moment here. Oh, there he is. Let's see if we can get him on camera. Hi, baby. He's so gorgeous. He's bright orange. Oh, he flew away. Come on. Come back. Here he comes. Here he comes. That's the female. She's muted. Hi, sweetheart. Yep, you have your grape jelly. There's the blueberries down there. There's my peach tree. I went in the other day and started thinning out all the extra little peach buds, baby peaches, so that the ones that are left, they'll get a little bigger, have a better yield. And those little orange flowers are California poppies that volunteer and self-seed, and the hummingbirds love them. And here's my little rose bush, and she's starting to put out blooms and flowers. Over here we have a iris bed, and I have some daylilies. I have an autumn joy sedum, this big one right here. They have beautiful pink flowers in the fall. And my Gibraltar azalea is just about done blooming, but there's still some tangerine orange flowers left there. Over here at the hosta bed, and my little path that leads that way. That is bronze coral bells, and they're starting to put out little shoots. And here are the hostas that I have, and they're doing well. This is the first year that I've been spraying them, that the deer really haven't eaten them when they were small. So they have had a chance to grow. This one is my big boy. Yeah, this is a big hosta. I know I'm weird, but I kind of get a sense of like if a plant has a male or a female energy, even though it's like not accurate. It's just how I feel. I feel this one's a female. She's real pretty. And these little ones are the babies that I put in last year and propagated them from ones that I already have. These are all mums growing here. And this is a violet. I think that violets really like the shade, in my opinion. We have a lot in the lawn, and they're small, but the ones that grow in the shade, they get huge. Yeah, so this is the hosta bed. And the perennial bed, irises and forsythia, and we'll walk down this little path. And there's the memorial to my sister who passed away in 2019. Bless you, my sister, I miss you. And let's see what we have growing down on this end. We have more daylilies, and we have a lot of Gloriosa daisies that are going to be, they're all budding. I'll show you the buds. Yeah. These Gloriosas are ready. And then all in here, I have white phlox. And they usually bloom into July. I'd say, yeah, the month of July they'll come in. More Siberian iris. And over there we have coral bells. And there's my sorbet peonies. And down here we have penstemon, just to give some red color to the garden. Real bright. Can't really see it on the video. And then here we have germander, or germander. It has little purple flowers next month. I think that's all. It was used, that plant was used in knot gardens because it's low growing and it could be pruned and shaped. And it also is an herb, which is what I read. So we'll go up this way a little bit. There's a little bumblebee there. Hi, babe. Let's see if we can catch him. Oh, there he goes. He's going to go on the poppy. Over here we have cranesbill geranium. That grows all over my yard. And back here, this is going to be bluebells. When that one blooms, I try to plant planting in succession, and also for birds, bees, and butterflies, and fragrance. Here's coral bells. Yeah, they really like their spot here. And the Gloriosa daisies reseed. I never have to plant them, but sometimes they take over. So I have a little white bellflower in here. So I might have to prune out a little bit or cut out a little bit. These are all going to be Gloriosas. I'll do another video in the fall. This is a sea holly, and she's blooming. I'm sorry, she's budding. I love the leaves on it. And this is columbine. I have a couple of different kinds of columbine. And there's my beautiful sorbets. They're just so pretty. I could just call them my pretty little girls. It's just beautiful. Just want to go over this little bed here. I transplanted these columbine from another site. I originally got the seeds. Look at these. These flowers are so different. Just kind of hanging like little tulips. My friend and I had gone to the Chicago Botanical Gardens, and she snitched some seeds, a seed pod, from these particular columbine, and when I got home, I planted them here, and they germinated, and I had them for several years in one spot, but they were getting crowded out, so I planted them here in the full sun, and they're just doing beautiful. I've got two of the red, and I read that they grow wild in places. And then I have a little white one that I found somewhere. It was actually growing underneath the picnic table, and I rescued her and put her there, and she loves it there. In here I have sage. I have herbs just growing here and there. There's the smaller leaf sage there amongst the daylilies. Those are daylilies there. And it's great to have sage. It comes back every year. This is my French sorrel. And it's bolted right there. I already harvested it and made my French sorrel soup for the season. And down this way, we have more daylilies and irises. And all this chamomile with the white flowers. I took a big harvest and I'm drying it for tea. There's still a ton of it left. And they're pollinators as well. And in here is my horehound. I love that. Little wrinkly leaf. And I transplanted a little baby peony right there, so we'll see if that takes. This is lavender, and I'm going to have a lot of it, a lot of shoots. And behind it is anise hyssop. Anise hyssop has that licorice taste, and I make cough drops out of the horehound and the anise hyssop. And in the back, you can't really see it, but I have spearmint and peppermint growing back there in containers that are buried in the ground to kind of control the growth. And over here, these are spirea. I cut them down to the ground every spring, and they send up new shoots and bloom, and they're wonderful pollinators. Here's more chamomile. And here's a beautiful hydrangea my daughter got me for Mother's Day a couple years ago. So I'm anxiously awaiting the beautiful purple and pink blooms on that. And behind it, those little pink flowers, that plant is called cinquefoil. And it likes kind of likes to have wet feet, and that's where the rain comes off the house and goes in there, and it seems to grow right there. Okay, we're gonna pan down this way and just show you that garden against the house, and we're going to go down to the middle garden. This is the middle garden here, and I have a lot of daylilies in here and many different things that we'll show you. We'll start off here. Here's phlox, and the purple flowers are catmint. And they are beautiful. There's a little bumblebee in there. And I have some white Siberian iris in there. And coming along, I have to get in here and weed a little bit. Here's more coral bells. And on the arch, I have clematis growing, and I have it coming up this side. When I planted this clematis several years ago, I unfortunately broke half of it off when I planted it, but I still planted it and she survived, but she's not as vigorous as her sister over here. I planted this one on this side. And she's really strong. And we're going to get a lot of flowers on her. Yeah. And let's go in here. The little magic garden. Oh, let me move this up here so she can climb. So in here I have daylilies, I have anemone, I have over those little yellow flowers in there are lady's mantle. There's more phlox, coral bells there. And in here is the big French lilac. I shouldn't say big, she's a dwarf, and that's that's a dwarf. I don't think she'll get bigger than that, but she had beautiful flowers. And then over here, we have more daylilies and phlox, and a couple of volunteer Gloriosa daisies. This is a beautiful pink azalea. She's doing great. And this daylily, when she blooms, is going to be bright yellow, huge flowers. And in here is my peony border. I have phlox down this end, and then it starts with the peonies. I have several different kinds of peonies. I propagated 38 peonies on this bed from 2 roots of two old plants that I had. I cut the roots, kept a little bit of an eye on each one. I planted them in a sandy soil, and I couldn't believe it. In the next spring, they sent up little purple shoots. 38 babies took, and I let them grow there for 2 or 3 years, and then I planted them in this permanent border. And then I got some red peonies to contrast with all the white, because the white is mainly Festiva maxima, and there's a pink one, and I don't know the name of it, but I propagated that one also. So these are starting to bud out and bloom, and I love this one. I don't even remember buying it, but I think I must have from somewhere, obviously. And these peonies are so different. They're just like a saucer. And look at that. I think these are called seashell peonies because they look like seashells. And here's a little bee in there. Yeah. And in here you can see the buds of the red peonies. Those are going to be coming soon. So I think I have 40, I might have 40 peony plants in here, in this bed. And I cut them down every fall. Yeah. Here's the Festiva. I'll show you. They're kind of drooping. Oh, look at this one. She's gorgeous. Look at this gorgeous one. Hello. She's beautiful. And I have red ones up there. And those are blooming there. And it smells wonderful here. It is so sweet. On this side of the path, I have foxglove that just grow wherever they want. They reseed and they come up in all different colors. And it's fun to see when they bloom what color they're going to be. Because I never know. This one is a beautiful purple. And this one looks like it's going to be yellow. Here's a white one. And another purple. And they're all in here. Here's Asian lily. I have 3 of them in here. And I have to spray for the Asian beetle so they don't eat everything. I already see several buds on this one. Yay. And I have to battle with this invasive fern. I've got to get in there and weed it out again. Oh, here's some peonies that just drooped from all the rain we had. Sorry. And here's more cranesbill geranium. She likes it there. Here's more peonies. This one is a pink one. And there's some, that darker pink there. And there's the whole bed from up here. And look at this one. This one's going to be gorgeous when she opens. Real dark, dusty rose, dusky rose. And this peony I thought was dead because I stepped on it and broke it. But I pampered her, and this year she looks like a sorbet. So I don't know how I got a sorbet up here. Maybe when I got the sorbets, I had an extra one and I just put her in there. So now I know what she is. She hasn't bloomed for 4 or 5 years. And this is these are daylilies here. They're going to have yellow lilies all on the border. All the way there. And this is Bleeding Heart. She's done bleeding. She's done blooming. Yeah, she's real pretty. And then all those peonies there. This is a far end of the garden on this end, and it's kind of shady spot here, so I put in some hostas, and they're doing well. I have to get in here and weed a little bit. We have burning bush, which I think they do not sell anymore because they're invaders. The birds eat the red berries and drop them, and they grow everywhere in the woods, and I guess they're not real native. So we're walking under the bushes. Let me get out here. This is a viburnum that I've never pruned these shrubs since I put them in. And these have beautiful red berries, and it's food for the birds over winter. And this is a Korean spice bush. These are all, that was beautiful when it was blooming, and the flowers fill the whole air with beautiful perfume. This is a Leucothea. And I have bittersweet vine growing in here, which is another invader. And I have to rescue her from that. I hate that. Bittersweet is actually a pretty vine if you control it. It has beautiful berries, but it's horribly invasive, and once it gets wrapped around a tree, it will kill the tree. And it's all in my Leucothea. And in my viburnum. This is Andromeda over here. She's all done blooming. And I have over here a purple or lavender colored azalea. And more burning bush. As you can see, I haven't pruned, so everything is wild. Everything is just wild. More Leucothea. Now, I think the catbirds are nesting in here, so I don't prune at all. You're supposed to prune after they flower, but I'm going to prune next year, early spring, right before, while the leaves are off the branches, so I can see what I'm doing, and there won't be any birds nesting in there. Yeah, this is Korean spice bush. Yeah, so that's that part of the gardens. And I'm going to take you to the side gardens and the rock garden. This is the side of the driveway here, and these are Siberian irises that are in bloom. And just walking along the driveway, we have daylilies. Those are mahogany red daylilies. They're beautiful. And in this little side bed, we have lots of anemone. And one of them is still blooming. A little purple flower. And I have a peony back there. More anemone, yucca. I don't see any flower stalks this year. Seems like they send up a flower stalk every other year. Here's irises. And more yucca. And this is Weigela bush. I got her as a freebie probably 15, 18 years ago. And it was a little stick in a plastic bag from when I had ordered some other plants from somewhere online somewhere. And she just took to this spot over the years, and I keep pruning her. And she rewards me with these sweet smelling flowers. Oh, it smells so good. She's so pretty. And it draws a lot of butterflies. Probably can see them flying around over there. And on this side, we have a rhododendron, which is she's an early one. I gotta prune her. And in here, I have some more Siberian iris and Shasta daisies that aren't blooming yet. They're not in bloom yet. This is a quince bush. She's all done blooming. And here I have autumn joy sedums that I transplanted. I have 3 of them here. And more yucca. And over here I have purple plum bush. I keep pruned down. Inside I have a huge autumn joy sedum. This is another quince. And there's the Gibraltar geranium. And the shrub with the white flowers is Deutzia. And we have more cranesbill geraniums. Daylilies. And there's my hosta bed in there. Lots of daylilies. And Siberian iris. Wonders spring from tiny seeds, beauty from the thorn. So many lovely mysteries are in a garden born. And here's a little moth. Over here I have candy tuft, and I have Veronica just about blooming with the purple flowers. And the clove pinks are just starting to bloom. They smell wonderful. Right here. They're part of the carnation family. Oh, it's so pretty. It smells so good. I have a lot of new growth on my white rhodie here, which is nice. So I'll just pan down this way. Yeah. So back here is my rock garden, and I had planted originally several different colors of creeping phlox, and this was beautiful in the spring. And I also planted an artemisia called Limelight Artemisia, which was a lemon and lime color. But the lily of the valley that was in here completely took over, as did the artemisia. So they're all mixed together, and I just gave them this hill for themselves because you can't fight Mother Nature. So this bed is all cascading lily of the valley and artemisia. And we do have some of the creeping phlox that flowers still poking its way through. And this is all sedum that's coming cascading down the rocks. And we have snow in the summer, the white flowers. And this pretty pink little flower. I don't know, it's some sort of a mossy rock plant. And my hens and chicks are in here. They're beautiful. I love them. Yeah, so the snow in the summer is starting to cascade down. And up here is a bleeding heart, a big bleeding heart. And then I have also a lot of dwarf bleeding heart. And this is a variegated sedum next to the hens and chicks. And more creeping phlox. This is called peppermint because when the flowers are pink with white stripes. And here's more cranesbill geranium and daylilies. And this last year there was grass in here. It started to grow. I must have transplanted something in here from the field, and the grass just took over. So early this spring, I got my spade and I removed all the grass, and then I transplanted in here Stella d'Oro daylilies. They have a yellow flower and they're pretty hardy. And then I top dressed it with some mulch. So hopefully, they may not bloom this year, but next year they should bloom. So this is all going to be daylilies, low maintenance. And I have many different kinds of sedum that are starting to take and spread. That's another big daylily. Over here, I'm trying to get in some creeping phlox and more of that sedum with the yellow flower that I put in. And I only go as far as that little cement planter. Over here, we have mayapple. And that's a poisonous plant. I got that from my friend. I think the Latin name for it is podophyllin or podophyllin. And that is the same chemical that takes care of warts. And the Indians used to use this for getting rid of worms in small doses, because everything is poisonous on this plant. Underneath the leaves, when it does bloom, it sends out a white flower underneath one of the big leaves, and then that little flower turns into a little apple-y looking fruit. Now you could make jelly out of that fruit, but you have to be careful because can be poisonous if taken in a lot of large quantities. But I love it, and it's probably a little bit too sunny for it here, but seems to be doing okay. And they spread by little fungus under the ground, just like a lady slipper. So I just let it do its thing. It's just a pretty accent because I love the umbrella-like leaves. There's my little leprechaun man. And up there is Solomon seal. That's a beautiful plant. Yeah. So that is my little tour of the gardens. And maybe once all those peonies bloom, I will take more pictures or take another little video. But since my name on the channel is Gigi Stitchin', you're probably wondering why I only have garden videos. Well, I have so many stitching projects and I just can't organize myself to do a video on it. But I will take you inside and show you the one that I'm working on right now. This is a chart that I got probably in 1989 or 1990. It's called Blueberries, and I fell in love with it when I saw it. Cross stitch. Designed by Helga. I don't know if there's any others that she must have designed some. And she was from Maine, and I went to a local needlework store, which is no longer, and I bought that, and I just let it sit. I never started it. And several years, probably in the early 2000s, I decided to start it. And I went to another local needlework store and asked her for the fabric, and it's 28 count Lugana even weave. And I'm doing it 2/2. So if you look down here, how many pages? 10 pages. And I'm on page 9 right now. And I have 5 and 10 left after I finish 9. And a little bit of 6 or 7, I think I didn't do the edge there, so I have to do that. But I have it set up on my Lowry stand in Q-Snap. And so here we are. This actually is page 8, and this is 8 and 3. And now I'm doing 9, and this is 4. So that's all done. And then I'll just have 10 and 5, but oh, it's so pretty. And I have 1, 6, 2, and 7 done already on that side. And it's all rolled up in the Q-Snap. But yeah, this has been, I don't know, how 30 something years that it's just been sitting, and I'm almost done. And I'm just stitching on it only. I have probably 20 whips in the boxes, and there's another box of charts and kits that I have all kitted up. So, you know, I don't have 100 like a lot of people have, but I have enough. And at my age, I don't know if I'll be able to stitch them all, but I am just stitching on this one right now. And in between, crocheting kitty blankets for the shelter. So those are the 2 things I'm doing. But anyways, I just wanted to show you what I'm stitching on. It's called Blueberries. I do post on stitching in the Interlake occasionally. That's a Facebook page that we can post stuff on. So I do post my progress on there. So yeah, so that's what I'm stitching right now. And I have a ton of other stuff in the wings. And right now, this is my only project to get it done. Well, folks, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the garden. It's a beautiful day. So I think I'm going to sit back and do a little stitching right now. Talk to you later. Bye.